services employees. They're called social distancing ambassadors. And so they're here to really just encourage our guests to maintain the 6 feet distance that's recommended by the CDC, and also to remind guests to continue to wear their masks when they're on site.
How are people about this?
I'd say for the most part, people have been very good about it. You know, most people want to stay safe and want to stay healthy, and also the most important thing is protecting others. So sometimes they need a little nudge to, you know, pull the mask back up. But for the most part, I'd have to say we've been very pleased with the way people are complying.
But that's why those people in blue are here, to make sure that you stay safe and that you don't overcrowd an area. Listen, we were talking. If you haven't been to Navy Pier in a while.
Navy Pier was awesome because we were really hungry for an opportunity to perform, and especially because it was outdoors, we felt safe doing it. The challenge there was that the dancers had only been in rehearsal for a couple weeks before we had to do that show. The last time they had performed, I want to say, would have been the week-long gig we had in January in Iowa, and then March 13th it came around and that was it. It was cut off. So by the time Navy Pier came around, it had been...
We're really excited to be back in action after 4 months away. And thank you. And just
4 months. I'm Jessica Deahr, and I'm Artistic Director of Chicago Dance Crash. I still made them wear masks in rehearsal because they had to wear masks for the show as part of the policy See Chicago Dance has, because they're just not worried about the dancers protecting themselves. They're worried about the dancers not, you know, contaminating the sound guy and the host and whoever might be sitting close to them or using the stage next.
And especially with a mask, you get there and you can't see people's facial expressions, so, and there weren't many people, so you were like, is this gonna be good or bad, or what is this what is this about to be? What was the question? Hi, I'm Casey. I'm rehearsal director and company member of Dance Crash. Okay. I'm the real Slim Shady.
We've been training a lot virtually at home in our apartments, but you can't move that big, you know, it's just never the same as actually rehearsing full out and learning material in person and touching people. So I was a little worried about their breathing, to be honest.
I died a little bit inside. It was really hard to breathe in that mask.
Done. Diamond, look at me. Let's see what that work looks like. Woo! Work, okay. That's some work right there.
Hi, I'm Porscha Spells. I am a company member and the jokester of Chicago Dance Crash.
Let me get to it. This is what happened. We were like yourselves nervous, even though the dances that we were performing, we performed hundreds of times. So nervous because we haven't been dancing for 4 months, you know, and not in a way of like making it so that people would like us and like doing the biggest tricks and the biggest views and just being our biggest selves. And it was just, it's been easier in rehearsals to be around each other and dance, but of course when that performance comes, it's always harder.
Tracy's a little nervous, guys. It was funny to hear them be nervous for it, because in a typical season, this would be a one-off. And that's not to say we don't appreciate it. We love doing shows like that, right? It's a show for people that don't normally see us. Maybe they don't normally see dance in general, but we're really used to doing those. And I was surprised when the dancers were kind of freaking out about it, you know? But it was like, they're just not, they hadn't exposed themselves. They hadn't been in front of other people. And there's this like, I don't know, part of your performer self that I guess when it's not in practice, you kind of lose and forget about.
But it did seem like people really just were enjoying seeing live performance again. It was just nice to be in person and feel like a sense of humanity again. We got to Navy Pier and it was like a ghost town. Like no one there, it seemed, and especially in like when you first arrive, you're not used to seeing like a bunch of people, and it felt crazy.
Initially, it seemed like there were more employees there, you know, to tell people the proper protocol than there were people who were actually around, you know, so that was a little bit weird. Kind of having your own free reign of Navy Pier was super weird and kind of fun, you know, it felt like you were in like an abandoned amusement park or something, and we're just running around and no one else was there.
And how was the crowd at the show?
The crowd at the Navy Pier show was sparse.
من زيني عاملي المشكور الحال والمال عليها نصبر العمار رزقت معدودة الأقدار والدهر يعلم فينا نكسب رزقي
One of the weirdest times in Chicago for me was when the pandemic first started and the restrictions were pretty tight. You weren't even really supposed to go that far from your home, you know? I remember I went to go get coffee downtown just because I wanted to see what it looked like. And just to see that you could park anywhere you wanted to was the weirdest thing. It was like, oh, this is very real, and it's happening right now.
Way back to January 1st, I feel like there was so much positivity and optimism going into 2020, and then March hit, bam, all of that crumbled away. Peace, what's up everyone? My name is Monternez Rezell, also known as Monty. I'm a company dancer with Chicago Dance Crash and the artistic director of Movement Revolution Dance Crew. I think since March, Chicago has been teetering on the brink of unrest, and honestly that speaks to what we're going through in the country. Like, we're unstable right now.
Stock up food and like have all these crazy things that you never think would happen in your lifetime. So you were going to the grocery store and it felt panic.
I did not do that. I did not stock up. So I ran out of toilet paper real fast, y'all.
That it was just kind of scary, you know, and I do have a few friends in the dance scene that essentially this put them into retirement. I can't even imagine trying to start my career at 20 during a pandemic. That's the exact time when you're supposed to be finding what company works for you, and you're able to waitress because the bar is so full that you can make a lot of money with tips. And it's like all these things that you need to kick off a dance career are so impossible right now that I'm just hopeful that that generation doesn't lose hope.
But I was broke. I was starving and scripting and scraping and trying to eat beans with just a spoon and stuff. Not that bad, but kind of that bad.
So you kind of had to create your own space to do your artistry, and which is hard. Like, you know, a lot of what I enjoy from art and dancing is like the community aspect and the collaboration and being able to vibe off of my friends, and that wasn't there.
It was a little like shocking to the system, I would say, just because within all that you had time to think about what was going on around you and actually stop and witnessed it, and instead of like when the world was going and this shit would happen, which it did happen. It happens every 4 years.
Chicago has reacted and has seen the effects specifically of what's going on nationwide, not only with the pandemic, but with civil rights in America. Dr. Martin Luther King had a year-long campaign here fighting for civil rights and workers' rights and equal housing rights. Chicago has always reacted to any devastating news that we get or we see in relation to Black Lives Matter and in relation to civil rights. Chicago will always rise up and fight and march and protest. Black and brown people are all over the city, and we've been here since Chicago has been Chicago.
Shannon, good evening. This is the most amount of shooting victims in one incident in recent memory.
So it's not good to be living in Chicago right
it's
now.
It's not even conceivable. That's worse than Afghanistan, I hate to say it. That's worse than any war zone that we're in.
Well, I feel like Chicago's gotten kind of a bad rap in the media lately, you know? And in regards to the, you know, the movements for social justice, it feels like the only thing that you would hear about if you weren't from here is you know, riots and violence, and it's frustrating to hear. And I know the dancers struggled with that a lot when we first got back to rehearsal.
And then so now I have people talking to me as if they know what's going on, but they really don't. The reality is, anytime you have poverty, you're gonna have crime. And as long as that situation lives on, we're always going to get negative press, and you're always going to have people afraid of the city.
Yeah, gladly. Actually, I went to my first protest by accident. I was going outside to get some ice cream. I was able to like share that and show that with people because they were like, oh my God, thank you. Because they're showing us the looters and stuff right now. And I'm like, no, we're like in my neighborhood chanting peaceful chants, poems, and I don't know, it was all peace. I did make a couple of friends that went to a couple protests with me. They hand out food and water, which that's something I didn't know that people did, was sit on the sidelines and hand out water to protesters. Coming out of all of that panic and frustration and anger, it was nice to be like engulfed in like peace and love and understanding and like hearing and trying to like understand and listen.
Honestly, most of the time, nobody's gonna pay attention to you if you come to the South Side. You know, do what you dare to do and mind your business, and we gonna mind our business too. The people of Chicago, I love you. Don't ever change, keep growing. We can improve our situations, but don't ever change.
Hey, Chicago, you've stayed home for months and saved lives. And now, because of all your hard work, we can go out. But we have to be safe.
Hey guys, oh my God, it's Tuesday, July 7th, 2020, which means that Chicago Dance Crash is going back to rehearsal today. I'm a little nervous. We're in the midst of a global pandemic, but it's cool because Chicago is in phase 4 of reopening. So that means that we can get back to rehearsal.
Let's go.
So the first rehearsal back, I was actually a little bit nervous or anxious because I had seen the dancers' faces a lot during quarantine.
4 months, we hadn't seen each other's faces in real life, only via the screen, right?
You know, get off your screen a little bit. You know, the protests were kind of at a peak, and I wanted people to be able to go to what they wanted to go to. And so coming back into rehearsal, there was a little bit of fear of like, is everyone mentally ready for this?
It was almost relieving to be around like a community of dancers, but we all knew that there were a lot of things that we hadn't talked about yet. So I felt like there was like almost like word vomit about to happen between all of us, and that's kind of what did happen.
We talked about racial injustices and systematic oppressions and how we were feeling. Basically just telling them they need to gain some knowledge too, as allies. And then also sharing ideas within the community with the African Americans within our community and what we thought needed to happen within our own community.
And of course, once we walked out the door on the first day and after we had some really long talks about everything, it was like, okay, let's reset and think about now what do we need to do. First things first, when you walk in extensions, you get your temperature taken. When you go in the studio, you'll see squares taped out. You have to be in the square if you're not wearing a mask. If you're wearing a mask, you can go anywhere as long as you're 6 feet away.
Find a tick mark that is 6 feet from another tick mark. Put your stuff there, find your square.
Be 6 feet apart, but you don't have to stay in that one square area, right? Am I just confusing the issue a little bit?
Keep your mask on.
Unless it's roomies.
If you take your mask off, it has to be by the side. Take it off from there and then you take it back on. If you put it back on, make sure you hand sanitize.
So
dance around the
everything that you touch, essentially, you have to clean.
So we have to clean the floor of the studio. We have to wipe down the ballet bar.
Anything I touched on, the stereo, aux cord.
Like a light switch or the thermostat.
If we touched the kitchen to get water, you had to clean that area.
And then the funniest one was probably the bathroom, because the dancers figured out very quick that if no one used the bathroom, we wouldn't have to clean it.
Who used the bathrooms today? You're the one to clean them.
Sure enough, Logan would be like, I did. And it's like, well, now Logan has to go like wipe down all the door panels he touched and like the soap dispensers. So I honestly think by the end, the dancers tried to not use the bathroom just to get out of cleaning.
Slide on the floor. And
the boys are slimy. Cool. They get slimy when they sweat, so they drip. So they gotta wear long sleeves.
It's just gross.
That's just because it's gross. Because they out of shape.
Yeah.
They gotta let me work them out. I'm trying to tell them to take my classes, they don't.
Our boy, except for Monty. Monty's in shape. Boy's out of shape. Is that gonna be on the film?
I mean, we don't have to split hairs here. So you're saying Logan and Diamond are out of shape?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
She a freak, she a dancer. She gon' pop it on camera. Throw it back if you nasty. Bounce it like it's elastic.
Go ahead, break it down real low. Go ahead, break it down real low. Go ahead, break it down real low. Stop playing with it, red light, green light, go. You remind me of Suicide Dolls. Pretty face with a body like whoa. Hit it with the lava lamp on. Catch a cab, pack a bag with your overnight clothes, yeah. You can look good for a living, come chill for a while. What's good for a minute, yeah. I'm just trying to get a taste before I get it like this, like that, this, like that. Pretty Coke bottle frame. Patty cake, anything goes. Red light, green light, go. Stop playing with it, gonna break it down real low.
She a freak, she a dancer. She gon' pop it on camera. Throw it back if you nasty. Bounce it like it's elastic.
Go ahead, break it down real low. Go ahead, break it down real low. Go ahead, break it down real low. Stop playing with it, red light, green light, go.
She a freak, she a dancer. She gon' pop it on camera.
Hurry up, it's going down. Call your gunner stabler. Call up your enabler. Live up to the fable. Break your leg, break a table like yay. Go spring break, go bananas, bruh, go eight. Go gadget, go box, go boots, go get that guac. Get up, go solo to the club. Go and get your partner off that hub or Rockefeller. Rock the bells, rock a mohawk, lose your L's. Mix your P's up with your Q's. But whatever you gon' do, don't come up in the club on that bull. They say they miss them old school gangsters. Them lolos with the diamonds in their faces. We got you high to it. You gotta just high to it. You gotta just high to it. You gotta just. Yeah. Okay, roll that caddy extra slow. She don't wanna see the poke. Play this CD all the way. Get your money all the way. Hit that pedal all the way. Eyes up at the traffic light.
Ooh, yeah. You can talk shit about me every day, but I'm still rich at the end of the day. Everybody wanna be like me. Ooh, yeah. Everybody wanna be like me. Everybody wanna be like me. Bust down big chains and dress fancy. Young from the hood with a plan. 1 foot in the street, 1 foot in the sand, 1 foot in the cleats, 1 foot in the vans, 1 foot in your 1/4 of a Zan. I know that's right. You don't know that life. Stay in your own lane, don't make me bowl that strike. Everybody wanna be like me, but there's only one eye in my E. Yeah. Everybody wanna be like me. Ooh,
When have you ever seen Chicago dance crowds dance together and have to stay away from each other? No lifts, no stunts, no touching. We got to stay away. And I can't lift anybody. I can't touch anybody. I can't do any partner work. We have to stay 6 feet apart at all times.
So the touching situation. Porscha and I are roommates, and I'd say best friends. Sometimes she...
Porscha?
Sometimes. Sometimes she likes me. Porscha and I are roommates, and Logan and Diamond are roommates, and we live really close, so boop boop. And I see Logan and Diamond often, so because it was essentially like we were living together too, so we were all four able to touch.
Because they're roommates. They touch each other all the time anyway. They live together. They breathe on each other. If they got coronavirus, they already gave it to each other.
And it also made me a little worried. If someone looked in on a rehearsal, they might think that we were not following the rules. But we had some interesting circumstances that kind of gave us, you know, some more freedom.
Just learned everybody's timing and learned everybody's lift, and they practiced it to mimic the time that it would take to perform it.
And I feel bad for directors that didn't have that, you know, at their whim to play with, was when we had to put something together really fast, even if those four weren't the four people doing it in that piece, it could be like, okay, show us what this would be like.
So there was like the touching dummies? Or like the touching models or something?
They were the touching dummies. Casey and Porscha were the touching dummies.
Touching dummies. Did Jess use that word?
I did that phrase actually with Monty. So they were like the touching dummies. Yeah, they were.
I hate him. Keep this in there.
But yeah, we were essentially the touching dummies, all four of us. So if something needed to happen in the choreography where Kelsey needed to partner with one of us, we would have to kind of figure it out and switch roles.
Love working with Jasper, but like my brain, with the way that we're like learning it safely and separated, it's just like, it's gonna be great. The piece is gonna be awesome.
The tough thing for Kelsey in Jasper's piece, she was the only one that was not one of the, you know, the people that could touch. So if you think about it, if we have a spot where two dancers are here and Kelsey's just supposed to be right here, right? And all she has to do is move forward to here. But in order to get there, it would put her too close to another dancer. She has to now run around and she can't get to her spot in time to catch that choreo. So poor Kelsey had to decide if she was just gonna do the whole thing in isolation to the side and actually see if she could breathe, or was she gonna run around but then miss parts and not get them linked together in her brain. So I know that was pretty tough for her, but she took it like a champ.
Okay, so today's the day. We're going to get tested. I'm not really sure what I'm in for. I've seen other people's brief videos of drive-through, you pull up in your car and they hand you something. I don't really know. So we're gonna see how it goes. I'm assuming that I'm not gonna be able to film while it's happening because I'm alone, but I will update whenever I'm done and we'll see how it goes.
We ended up finding a testing site in Chicago, luckily, that was free, but the tricky thing was figuring out when do they have to get tested so that we get the results in time to make sure everyone is negative, we can fit in a touching rehearsal, and we can film, knowing that people are fine, right? That was a very anxiety-filled moment for me, but luckily the timing that we gambled on worked out really well. We had all the dancers go within these 2 days that we picked. So we would like sink or swim together.
If somebody tested positive, we would have had to just redo formations or replace people, or the understudies would have to step up. Dun, dun, dun.
And especially when you think about the 4 people that could touch, if one of them was positive, we'd have to assume that all 4 of them were. And honestly, then I don't think we could have done the shoot. So I was really happy to hear that everyone was negative.
There you go. Yeah, this is real simple, you hear me? You know what, I need some blood up out of you, man. You got that, give me the needle.
Nah. Oh man, yeah, they were trying to hit on me at that drive-in. Like, I'm not gonna do it. I might not take your DNA, you know, and clump. Like, you being a weirdo, sir.
Have a nice day.
Have a great day.
He was trying to be my boyfriend. They always trying to be my boyfriend out here. I don't want no boyfriend.
They did it for you?
No, but he was watching closely. He was watching by the door.
That would be so weird.
Like, nah, nobody else could get swabbed. They didn't swab you like that. They took my swab and swabbed me.
Hey girl, let me swab your mouth. Hey girl, let me swab your mouth.
So the last rehearsal was different because now we officially knew that all the dancers were COVID negative, and now we can touch, and we have to really quick figure out how to make everything happen. I think they were just excited to be able to touch again, you know?
I can hug my friends. Like, it's been months since I've been able to hug my friends.
She's a hugger.
She's a hugger.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow. We haven't lifted each other in 5 months. We haven't touched each other in 6 months. But now we can. It was hard because like you have to like consciously remind yourself.
It depends on the piece, right? Because Sikeena has a lot of upright stuff, you know, that was the one we were least worried about. Elastic, again, wasn't that much of a worry because it really, we catered it to the roomies. So the big question was Jasper's piece. And that one was kind of tough because some of the stuff we figured out, but other stuff he was really cool in giving us the freedom to be like, okay, here's the description, you know, and we had a few rough videos of like when we threw in KC for Kelsey, you know, and we had to scroll through our Vimeo account and try to find what was the movement even. So I would say that piece was the most stressful and maybe involved the most partnering that we hadn't gotten to do yet.
Chicago Dance Crassery here. These pants. We're on stage. We're checking for our pre-recording show.
Mark, I want you to put this in the documentary. Because sometimes they be forgetting. Your boy holds down the hip hop show. That's all I gotta say. Your boy holds down the hip hop. Are you recording this?
Yes.
Get off y'all phone. What? I'm minding my business. I was not listening anymore. I stopped. I like
We did our final rehearsal, and the next day we have our call time at the Beverly Art Center, and we need to start recording our new rep pieces.
Like I normally write the dancers a little card for the end of season. I was like, oh, this is it. Like this is the end, you know?
And we walk into the Beverly Art Center, and we see this beautiful empty space. Dead silence. Empty. Nobody there.
It's 4 cameras.
Right, who's your audience? 4 cameras. These 4K cameras that we got to perform to.
It was like, we're not going to do a show right now. We're going to do piece number 1, you know? But I think we needed it, you know, just to kind of look at each other and you know, acknowledge that this is different, but it's going to maybe expose us to some people who wouldn't normally get to see this show if we had done it in person.
Dance is such a interactive performance, right? In the moment, you can be on stage and you can feel like, oh, I didn't really hit that move or execute that choreography to the best of my ability. And then you do something and the crowd gives you positive feedback.
Like you were used to dancing with a mask and now you don't know what to do with your face. Like it was all these weird things that you didn't expect to feel within the video shoot. But it was tiring as
You know as well as we know that these dances are not easy and they are physically exhausting.
Exhausting. So we always ask for them to give us some noise. So Mark, you ain't really give us a lot of noise.
Without that real-time interaction, you just have to dig deep inside and find it, you know?
Again, it was that weird thing, like going back to quarantine, it kind of reflected on what we've been doing this whole time of like
isolation dancing.
Isolation dancing, where it felt like you were doing this for yourself. You kind of had to find like that within yourself.
Everybody wanna be like Pump. Everybody got fake dreads and love to try drugs. Ooh, watch you do is what you do whatever you want. Yes, I'm hella ignorant and don't give an 8 and 1. Everybody wanna be like.
Yeah, it was nice to go in there and forget about, you know, a lot of what was happening in the world, to have an emotional outlet that you feel like you normally wouldn't be able to share in the normal world.
There's a reason why we continue to go there. Could have been like, this is part of my restart. I don't want to do this. But we all felt a need to do it, as hard as it was and stressful as it was. So it is still hard for the dancers, but like they are dance, we are art. That is who we are at the end of the day.
We really had to pump it up, pull it together, and leave it all on the stage. And that's kind of hard to do with no crowd interaction and with no crowd feedback. So as you're watching these pieces, I hope you're loving it. I hope you see the energy and the vibe that we're creating. And I hope you guys are enjoying our new pieces.
get 'em. Trans. Wait, I see a whole lot of frontin', a whole bunch of talking, doing a whole bunch of nothing. Get 'em. I let it work. Non-stop. I let it work. Non-stop. Everybody talking about they want this money, but when you get the money, everybody acting funny. I let it work. Non-stop. I let it work. Non-stop. Rest in peace to B.I.G. PAC from LA to NYC. We get it. New York, smoking that la la la. Crept up in the place with the rat-ta-ta. Cali, Cali, smoking that la la la. Snuck up in the place with that rat-ta-ta. Bridges over, bridges over. Block full of timber wolves in the kitchen. How my man was holding. For Snoop, kick the building over. Heck, dot 6 rover. Way before you heard a hover. Baguettes flow, respect though, my neck glow. Frankie Beverly Mays before I let go. This type of money get you right off a murder one. On a yacht, Prince of Rock, on a vertical. Frank Thomas, Frank Mueller, Frank Lucas, Frank's the jewelers, movies, Jews with goofies. Wait, I see a whole lot of frontin', a whole bunch of talking, doing a whole bunch of nothing. Get 'em.
The next thing after that was actually a music video with P3 Media Works, and that was so fun. It was such a group effort because the whole thing had to happen in one take, and so the amount of people that relied on was insane because we're also throwing in smoke bombs, there's choreo, we have a rapper who's walking backwards and rapping his lyrics that he memorized backwards so that when the whole thing plays forward, it looks weird, but he's mouthing the lyrics correctly forward, right? We had such a good time. I don't know if I could speak for the dancers because it was really hot outside and they were getting burned by smoke bombs and stuff, but they seemed to really enjoy it. You know, we were hyped and we're screaming, and I'm kind of hopeful, you know, of stuff starting to reemerge and people finding ways around the rules, you know, kind of like what we did for this shoot. There's some outdoor shows happening with bands. I have a show tomorrow outside and I don't even care if it rains or if I'm freezing. I'll just be excited to be in front of an audience.
I am picking up side gigs, so doing new dances, dance hall with Stacy, the Jew Call Queen, and other music videos that I get here and there.
We did one together.
We did Champion together, and I do some promos for Deahr, which is a t-shirt company that's pairing with a cycling company.
I just released music. So my EP, Change Gonna Come, has been getting a lot of press lately and been getting a lot of listens, and I've been promoting that work, and then I've been being invited to speak on virtual panels via Zoom about music and making music during quarantine.
My biggest thing that I'm doing now is community development for the west side of Chicago, just assisting them in the rebuilding and redevelopment of new spaces, and hopefully they are thinking about starting a new program for kids in dancing, so I'll be there.
I did a Two Hype Crew show, which is a cover band, and hopefully, like, I've had a bunch of people come to me that they want to do some collaborations, and in a way, it kind of made it feel like the industry is still alive, and that it was like just that little bit of hope that you needed to like be able to keep going.
My art, everything I do, everything I've seen from other artists is now focused on shining a light on the injustices that we're facing currently and speaking out, lifting up our voices and our art to say we can't take it anymore. And I think art has a powerful position in the world, in our lives, in a unique voice to do that. It's a lot of great activities to do in the city of Chicago.
Going to the bars.
Going to the bars.
Wait, for what? For Crash?
Yeah.
You want to go to the bars?
Yeah. Like, I like to pick out my outfit and go to a wedding, you know? Or I want to go see a live dance show. I want to be at a street festival and drink out of like an open cup, you know? I want to have a beer outside with people around me.
But this one thing did affect me so much. All of the DCase events canceled. That hurt my soul, bro. That hurt my soul. We couldn't go to Taste of Chicago. We couldn't go to the free concerts in Millennium Park. We couldn't do Chicago Summer Dance. Like, that hurt. That hurt deep. It hurt. So I'm looking forward to being able to do those Chicago summertime free events again.
Being in a dance space where it can be a lot of people and having that community vibe, and like I'm especially looking forward to partnering. Crash does it well. Why do you keep looking at me like that?
Because you said that really loud.
Partnering.
You're really excited about that.
Yes, I'm so excited about partnering. Touch me.
Take that out.
At some point during the summer, I always like get out and street perform. And you've seen me street performing before, and I haven't been able to do that. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to doing again whenever we get back to our new normal.
The feeling of art is not dead. What is like what I kind of kept like having to go back to, and I think it was probably it will be nice to see like a company that handled their money the way they needed to in order to like keep their dancers at least working through this.
I'm excited about what's coming next for Crash. Most of it I can't really say details about, but there's definitely things on the horizon. We're going to self-produce our own project, which I can't tell you many more details about. We know we'll fit in some KTFs.
It'll be cool to pick back up with the new season and just get back into full-fledged Dance Crash touring life, because it's always fun when we get to visit new cities and new towns and new colleges.
We're about to have a virtual audition, which will be really fun. We haven't done that before. We're going to fill in a couple of the ensemble slots that we have open, and then we're going to push through.
I feel like this year it'll be our chance to like really show Crash Fusion, and the dancers that we have now are truly that.
I think it's important for us to remember that we shouldn't try to jump back into what normal used to be full force. We should work our way up, and we should be diligent and mindful of how we're going to get back to the new normal, whatever that's going to be. And that's okay. And I think part of that new normal is going to be being conscious of the situation that we lived through in 2020, and how can we take steps to improve life as a whole.
Sometimes it feels like dance is like a privileged thing, like it's something that we don't need, but in actuality art is a lot of things.
Like healing.
It's healing, and it's clear that it makes people feel a certain way,
and that's our way to like show what's going on around us and how we let it go. Mm-hmm. And how we express ourselves in a creative and a constructive way. Because if not, I'm because people out all on the internet. Mm-hmm. You'd rather see me dance than cuss people out on the internet.
Yeah.
All right.
Goodbye.
All right, that is a wrap, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching all of our new rap pieces.
We hope we gave you a little insight into Crash life, and stay tuned. Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted, and we'll be here to push through for you guys. Thank you, we appreciate you.
I was born by the river, my soul has been delivered. But even as an innocent baby, they call me nigga. Stuck in a time when my skin made them quiver. Baptized me in the water so cold it made me shiver. Wrapped me in the blanket and decided right now she was gonna head north and escape this town. No matter what she faced, she would not back down. Tired of being mistreated cause her skin was brown. Quick shift, big pivot, she reached her limit. She knew this was a place she would never revisit. Fled north and hasn't looked back ever since. She said a change gon' come, she can feel it in her spirit. Even as a young boy, I felt it too. And one day I was gonna do what I had to do. I know what change gon' come, I believe that's true. Philando, Sandra Bland, yeah, we do this for you. A long time coming, yeah, but I know a change gon' come, gotta come. I was born in the city, hard times, yeah, they were plenty. Wondering if I would make it to C20. If you live where I live, yeah, you make it just barely. But if you got money, you can live in luxury. Harassed by the cops every time I get stopped. Gotta keep my hands in sight so I don't get shot. Move slow, stay calm, being killed in public when we are unarmed. So I say power to the people have the power. This is it, we are entering the final hour. Fist in the air, we will not cower. We will not stop till racism is devoured. BIPOC, if that's you, stand up, let's fight. We cannot lose. I know when change gon' come, I believe that's true. Mike Brown, Erik, yeah, we do this for you. Been a long time, very long time coming, but I know a change gon' come, it's gotta come. Sometimes I feel like history is on repeat, slowly crashing with no control or delete. How many times Rosa Parks gon' have to stay in the seat? How many times Cabinet gon' have to take a knee? How many times MLK gon' have to march in peace? How many times we gon' have to say, I can't breathe? How many times we gotta beg and plead? How many times Malcolm X gon' say, by any means? How many times black people gotta die in the street for you to see America is full of hate and deceit? Face it, I think it's time to defund police and invest in people in poor communities. Been a long time coming, a long time running. 400 years of oppression and mass suffering. A change gon' come, cause we making it true. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, yeah, we do this for you. What you know? Okay. Uh-huh. Tell them again.
A long time coming, but I know a change gon' come, a change gon' come, a change gon' change. Oh, yes it will.
Okay, that's it. She's loaded back up. Goodbye 2020. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next season.